Hello, hello. It's Coyote Christina, surfer, author, dream weaver, and we are back. I decided to take a week break, a midterm or a mid-campaign break. So I took a week off from posting, but I'm excited to be back in action. Are you ready to move, to embrace your power, to transform your own life, to step into the life and inspire others to shine their light? Let's change the world. Yeah, that's on my good days. I'm all excited. I'm looking forward to go. That's always the good thing about a break. You can come back rejuvenated. And we are starting on Movement Mondays. So ready to move. We're going to do pyramid pose. I will read a little bit. It's a standing pose. And at a subtle level, it's called Uttanasana, Paravatanasana. I'm trying to read the name of the pose in maybe Sanskrit. I'm not sure which. I'm not good at the original language here. Anyway, at a subtle level, this pose refers to an intense expansion of prana that circulates through the torso and head in this posture. This enhanced circulation of prana naturally quiets the mind and cultivates a sense of reverence and surrender. So I chose pyramid pose because we are in the relation stage of the journey, and we're in the empowerment section of that relation stage. And it's really about strengthening our heart chakra to live a heart-centered life and to be guided from within by the wisdom of the heart, and not let our overactive minds or overactive egos control us. We become our heart is our master, and that wisdom within, and we're no longer controlled by our ego or our minds. And so with pyramid pose, it's a forward fold in the pose, so it naturally quiets the mind, just as I read. What else? So as I was just saying, I chose the pyramid pose for this week because it's the pose that places our mind below our heart and symbolically represents the bowing of our mind to our heart. And this is where empowerment happens, where we free ourselves from ignorance and circumstance by trusting in a force and a power that is greater than us. So it's paradoxical because to connect with that force that is outside of us, we have to look inside of us. When we're looking outward for affirmations and for answers, then there's going to be all kinds of noise and all kinds of different information and conflicting information that we find. But when we look inward and connect with our heart and connect with that teacher within, it becomes clear. We know what we need to do and what our truth is. And we just spend the rest of our lives following it and learning to connect with it and follow it. And let the doubts and the fears fall away. And then we have these amazing animal guides we've been learning about that help us do that. So I'm going to demonstrate pyramid pose, and we're also doing a breathing exercise along with the pose. So as we're standing in pyramid pose, and I'll give a couple alterations to it as well if you're not comfortable doing a full forward bend over your leg. But what we're going to do when we're standing in that pose is our feet are going to be planted on the ground, and we're going to breathe through the soles of our feet and bring our breath up through the legs into our root chakra and sacral chakra, so into our pelvic area and the base of our torso. And then, so that's the inhale, pulling that energy, earth energy, grounding us into our bodies, into the here and now. And then we're going to exhale from the pelvic area, and we're going to be forward fold. So we're just going to let that energy flow down the torso, taking any tension out of our bodies, letting it flow out of the top of our heads and back down, giving it back to the earth, that tension. So that's the breath, inhaling through the soles of the feet, exhaling, let the breath flow down the torso and out the top of the head along with any tension. So as we do that, it grounds us in our bodies. And it's also that symbolic reverence for and bowing to our heart and to a heart-centered life. All right, so we're gonna stand. So to stand in pyramid pose, if you're just standing with your feet together, just take one step forward and your feet are pretty narrow. It's almost like railroad tracks pointing forward. And just whatever is more comfortable for you. If it's more comfortable to be up, if you want to step a little more back. And then we're going to breathe and inhale that energy up through those legs, get comfortable in the pose. And when you're ready, you're going to exhale and letting that torso fall down. If this is all that's comfortable for you, you can actually, you can get blocks, or if you have a cushion, if it's comfortable for you to go far enough just to lay on a cushion. Maybe you don't want to go all the way to the ground, so a cushion would be good. If you have really tight hamstrings, bring a chair. You can just use a chair, and you're just going to lean forward and put your hands on that chair. And you inhale the breath up through the soles of the feet into that pelvic area, and then exhale, letting that breath go through up through the torso, out the top of the head. So those are some of the alterations to the pose. If you have tight hamstrings, go there. I'm pretty flexible, and I do like this pose. It feels to me like I'm just releasing all the tension, and I just allow myself to forward fold over my leg and drop my hands to the ground. And I exhale, and just dropping that head. The neck should be nice and loose. Dropping the hands to either side. You can keep them out if you need to balance yourself a little bit. And just taking a few breaths. Inhaling up through the soles of the feet, up through the legs, into the pelvic area, and then exhaling, letting the breath wash down the body and out the top of the head. Releasing all the tension, letting go of anything that's not needed. And in this position, as your mind quiets, surrendering to your heart, your mind bowing to the heart center, and to be guided by it. And when you're ready to come out, just bring those legs together. You can roll into mountain pose and just standing. Taking a few breaths, noticing how your body feels. If it helps to release tension, you can breathe out your mouth and let your shoulders drop away from your ears. And then now the first time I step my right foot forward, so this time I'm going to step the left foot forward and do the same thing on the other side. This time I'm going to use a chair just to demonstrate how it works on the chair. So inhaling, becoming comfortable, strong in the base of your legs. Inhaling that breath up through the legs to the pelvic area. And then on the exhale, when you're ready, doing that forward bend, holding onto that chair. I also like to, when I have a chair, just maybe folding my arms across and laying my head on the chair. That actually feels like a really, really good stretch on my left, on the back left hamstring. So, just breathing through the soles of the feet, up through the legs on the inhale, and then exhaling, allowing that breath to flow down the torso and out the top of the head, releasing all the tension in the body. Letting go of anything that's not needed. Simply focusing on the breath, inhaling up, inhaling that earth energy up from the earth, through the soles of the feet, up through the legs, to the pelvic area. Exhaling, releasing it from the pelvic area, down the torso, out the top of the head. exhale. Exhaling, coming up, stepping that right foot to the left. Inhaling back up into mountain pose where you're standing. Taking a few breaths in mountain pose. Absorbing the benefits of that pose. Now you should be feeling grounded in the body. Enjoy that relaxation that happens on those forward folds that quiets our mind and allows us to come into that present moment. So that is our pose for the week. Pyramid pose. I hope you enjoy that. If you have any questions, send me a message, DM me. And thanks for being here. Take care. Bye-bye.